Hey, we are here with section 6.2. We're going to be graphing our polynomial functions just like last unit, except this time we're going to get a little bit more detailed. So in 6.1 you were looking at things that said like y equals, I don't know, like x to the fourth plus, 2x cubed and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you're just looking at, A was even and starting out end behavior, that would have been going up here, and even meant that it would be going the same way on the end, and you'd be getting a little W thing going on. What we're going to do now is we're going to get a little bit more specific, and we're going to find places where that is going to cross on our x-axis so we can get a little bit better idea of where our W is and what it looks like. It's going to be a little easier than you probably think it's going to be right now, but you'll have to trust me on that. Here's steps 1 through 4. You can read them, hit pause. I promise you it's not going to make much sense until you've done it once or twice. Then when you go back, it'll make a lot more sense. So let's just jump into it. Factored means that we've got our little parenthesis groups. Everything's in little binomials. We're all multiplied through here. If you want to know what type of graph we're going to have, well, the front here, there's nothing there, so that means it's going to be a positive. We've got 3 x's, so it's a positive x cubed type graph. So if you kind of remember what we were talking about yesterday, the positive means that it started out going up forever. Cube means it had a couple turning points and it would be going down forever. So this is the general sketch that we would have got in the last section. What we're going to do now is we're going to use the fact that it's factored to find our x-intercepts here and actually figure out where on our graph this is going to be located. So way back when we were first solving using factoring, this would be month ago now or something in your lives, we'd find that if we had x minus 2 as one of our groups, we put that equal to 0. We'd add 2 to both sides, and we would get x equals 2. That's kind of what we're doing right now. We're going to take the sign of each one of these and we're going to change them. So there's a positive 2, a negative 3, and a positive 6. These are going to be where on our x-axis that our little curvy graph is going to go through. So at a positive 2, I'm going to put a dot there. Negative 3, and at positive 6. Now, that gives us a general idea. We're not going to get into how big the curves are, whether they're kind of small curves, or where they go exactly. But we do know it looks kind of like this, and it's going to go through these points. So I'm going to start out up here. I'm going to go down through my first point, curve it up, curve it down, and go on forever. So we get an idea of where it is and what it kind of looks like. And there's our graph. Look at that. We just graphed a cubic polynomial. Alright, we're still going to talk about our end behavior. As it goes to positive infinity, that's looking at our arrow here, and it's definitely going up. So that's talking about a positive infinity. It's going to go up forever. Negative infinity, that's looking at our left side. Which way is this arrow pointing? Well, it is pointing downward. So that's going to be a negative infinity. Same types of answers you could have been getting yesterday when we were looking at this. Knowing our positive means that the end behavior for the positive was going up. Cubic meant that our negative end behavior was going to be the opposite, and then to go to negative infinity. So you can still use those ideas from yesterday, or now that we're going to be drawing our graphs out here on our graph a little bit better, you can take a look at that and make sure things match. So let's find our x-intercepts here first. We've got a negative 2, a negative 4, a negative 6. And what about this guy out here? Well, it's kind of like he's in a little group of x minus 0 or plus 0, doesn't matter. It's still going to give us 0. So when you see that x out front all by itself, it's just a point that goes through 0. This is one of the weird little easy things that kids miss all the time. Believe me, I go home and cry about it sometimes. Why is that the hard part? So 0 gets us a point right here. Negative 2, negative 4, and negative 6. So what type of graph do we have here? Well, our front is positive. How many x's do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a positive x4 graph. So if we remember our sketches from yesterday, we just kind of imagining. We got 3 turning points, starting out on the positive, making a W. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start out up here, Kind of just W my way right on through all those points. And look at that, that's just amazing. I think I've done some better W's before, but this one's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So, end behavior. As I'm going out to positive world to the right, it's definitely going up. So I got positive infinity. As I'm going left forever and ever, it's definitely going to positive infinity. I almost wrote negative. You saw that. Definitely positive. That's why we write our plus signs out there so that there's no doubt. He looks angry. He's mad at that plus sign for screwing up. Alright, here we go. Uh-oh. We're already scared. What do we do with this? Well, the easy kind of trick way is you think negative 1 divided by whatever's in front here, 2. So that's a negative 1/2. And oh goodness, yes, you're going to have to find where 1/2 is on the graph. It will be okay. But there might be some bloodshed, there might be some tears. We'll save it for last. How about that? We'll just do the 4, the 5, and the 3 first. So positive 4 out here, positive 5, man, those are right next to each other. And negative 3. Alright, let's see if we can do this. 1/2. Well, 1/2, that's like 0.5. It's 50 cents. It's between 0 and 1, and it's on the negative side. So between 0 and 1 on the negative side, it's going to be right here. I'm glad we can make it through that. That scared me. Alright, negative 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. So it's a negative x to the 4, so that means it's my crazy W thing flipped upside down. I'm starting down here in the negative world because of the negative sign here. So I'm going down, bouncing right through here. Yeah. It's usually better if you make some sound effects as you're kind of snaking through there. Makes it more exciting. But I mean, how do you make polynomial graphs more exciting? I don't know how you can, because these are just awesome. Alright, so out here on this side, we're definitely going downward forever, so that's going to be a negative infinity for our end behavior. Same thing over here, we're also going down forever. Also, negative infinity. He looks a little happier. It's like, yeah, look at that. Alright. If you're daring, if you're really daring, I say you go ahead and see if you can do this one on your own. I'm going to do it for you anyway because, you know, what else am I going to do? I'm sitting here after school by myself, talking as if someone is listening. Isn't that the definition of crazy? Alright, negative 3 here, divided by my front coefficient to negative 3/2. Also, don't want to forget about that negative sign out here. So, let's get my zeros in. Negative 4. Positive 2. Negative 3/2. Well, that's like negative 1.5. So that's going to be going backwards past the 1 and in between the 1 and the 2. A little trick. If you make your dot big enough, it's kind of hard to tell where it is. I've learned that from kids. They'll do that on the test. Just make a really big dot and just hope it's close enough to be counted as correct. Alright. Yeah, you're laughing right now because you've done that before. Alright, negative sign here. We got 1, 2, 3 x's. So it's a negative x cubed graph. That means I'm starting down here. It's odd, so I better be ending up here. Let's get through there. Nice. Oh, I like the multicolor. I think that looks pretty nice there. It's a good color combination. Alright, right side going down forever. That's a negative infinity. Left side going up forever. Positive infinity. Yeah. Pretty happy. Alright, this one's your... Oh, no, it's not. I don't want to leave you with this, because what just happened here? Look at this. A little 2. Oh, my goodness. That is just going to ruin your day. Or make it the best day ever. We'll have to find out. Alright, so what this really means is this is an x minus 1 root that we have happening twice. I promise that's a 1. So the square means we got x minus 1 and x minus 1. So when we start talking about what our roots are, we got a positive 1 and a positive 1. It's called a double root. And when we have a double root, it is twice as fun when we graph. We only got to put the dot on here once. I've got to get my -3 out here, -4. Alright. But what's awesome about the double root is that it has to go through that point twice in a way, which means that it's just going to bounce off of it. It's kind of like it hits the trampoline and bounces back the other way that it was going. It's going to be great. Alright, it's positive out here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, so it's an x to the 4 graph. So we're going to make a w, but this w is going to bounce right here at this point. So that's what we got to do. So I'm going to start out here. When I get to that one, we're going to bounce. Are we ready? Oh, let's go with the blue. Forgot. This is going to be great. Here we go. Alright, so we're going down, we're going down, we're going on. And you bounce. And then you snake through the other ones. Whew, man, that's great. I kind of missed that dot, but let's pretend I didn't. Let's see how we hit that point and we bounce and go the other way. So we're going down there and boom, fly through. It's kind of like a little roller coaster. We hit there and boom, shoo. Yeah. Alright, so again, right side, positive infinity. Left side, also positive infinity. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident that we are going to do well right here. I'm looking at this. This has a little bit of everything going on. We've got our x all by itself. I know you're going to remember what to do there. We've got our little 2 here. We're going to bounce. I think this is going to work out well. So go ahead and take a look at 6 on your own. I have faith. It's going to be great. Alright, where are we at here? Moving on to some common semester exam questions. This guy. This doesn't look like anything we've been doing. This looks like half of yesterday and half of today. So let's just kind of go through. This is our most important guy right here, right? Negative means that we start out going this way. 4 is even, so we're going to end going that way as well. Well, who doesn't look like they're doing that? Nope. Nope. We got these 2 guys here. And now, they kind of look like they're almost the same. This guy just gets a little more curvy up here. This guy's a little flatter. But let's look at where they're going through these points here. Can't really tell exactly what's going on. So, let's see if we can plug in a number. It's always good. Plug in a number. Can't go wrong with plugging in, right? It's one of our math favorite things that we're ever going to do. So what do we want to plug in here? I see it goes through this -1. And if I can't plug in 0 or 1, -1 might be the next best thing. So let's plug in -1 to all these things and just see what happens, if we can tell if it goes through here or if we're going to have to go with this one over here. So we got negative of -1 to the 4th plus 2 times -1 squared plus 2 times -1. I just ran out of room, but I can cheat and scoot it over. Don't you wish you could do that on your paper? Plus 3. Alright, even powers means that it's going to come out positive, but this still has a negative here, so that's a -1. Even power, going to come out positive, so that's a plus 2. Here, that's going to be a -2, and this is a plus 3. Well, 2 minus 2 is 0, so -1 and 3, that's going to make a 2. Does this look like it's at 2? No, it's at 0. So this is not where we want to go. Here, if we go to -1, we kind of go up. Hey, look at that. It's right there at 2. That's our winner. Not C. And I'm sorry that, yes, you have to do this, but this is the way they do one of the questions on the test from time to time. So that's a little bit more work. Here, example 2 and 3 that you have left, I think we can figure these things out. Which one's talking about our end behavior? We're looking at that. We're thinking about negative infinity. I think we can pick out the right answer. Please, please, don't be the kid that picks those. Don't pick those. Alright, and number 3, give that one a try on your own. Finding your zeros, you're looking for these points right here. I think you can count, so I think we're going to do amazing.